So, anyway, let's move on from there. Let's go back into these big three companies. Now, I'm going to start and probably move from the smaller ones to the larger ones.
Okay.
I originally had planned on doing it the opposite way, but I think this way might give people a little more clarity as to what's really going on here. Now, we'll start with the State Street Corporation. Okay? They were founded all the way back in 1792. They are a Boston-based company, obviously from State Street, outside of the capital of Boston in Massachusetts. Currently, their CEO is Ronald O'Hanley III. Now, the most recent information that I was able to find, and this also is the other one I believe I got from Investopedia. So they have $4 trillion under management, and it's believed that they have 43.3 trillion in assets under custody. So, major player.
Right.
And also, State Street, BlackRock, and Vanguard, they are considered the big three of, institutional firms.
In the United States or around the world?
That's a good question because they're all global.
Right, okay.
So, all I saw was big three keep popping up. So, I would have to assume
the world
that it would be the United States.
Oh, okay.
But I would also assume that these are major players on the global scale as well.
Okay.
All right, looking into who is behind State Street. 93.7% of their stock. Now they are a publicly traded institution as well. 93.7% of their stock is institutionally owned. So individuals and employees and probably smaller funds, we'll say, only account for 6.3%. If there's not any of their stock that's just
right
out there still waiting to be bought. So let's go into who owns that portion of the 93.7%. The number one company is the Vanguard Group. Another one of the big three.
Right.
And they own 9.3% of State Street Corporation.
So it's coming to find out that looks like the Vanguard Group are the rulers, the true rulers of the world.
Well, yeah, you're going to start noticing a common theme probably, moving forward here and everything.
Right.
But still, almost 10% of the third largest, institutional, firm. We'll just say in America. Well, it for sure in America because all three of these are American companies.
Okay.
Okay, so anyway, moving on. Second on that list is BlackRock. Number 2. They own 7.5% of the stock. Also, another one of the top 3.
So State Street is basically...
Their two most
BlackRock.
prominent investors are the other 2 largest investing firms.
Okay, I got you.
So, I don't know. Okay, number 3, and I'm only doing the top 5 of each of these companies with maybe some notables thrown in there. Number 3 is Dodge & Cox. They own 6.1% of State Street. Fourth is T. Rowe Price with 6% flat. And the 5th largest stockholder, shareholdership is the State Street Corporation itself at 5.1%.
Okay, so State Street Corporation owns only
5.1% of the stock
of State Street Investment Group.
Compared to about 18% between Vanguard and BlackRock.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's like I said, that's kind of going to be a theme, we'll say, moving forward. Because
I would not be surprised to see that State Street Corporation owns part of Vanguard and BlackRock.
we'll get there.
And vice versa, all the way around. I think they all own each other. They're all intertwined.
I mean, we'll get there. But yeah, I mean, like I said, it's going to be a narrative that you're going to see repeat itself. So let's go ahead and move on to the second on the list, which is BlackRock. Now, State Street was number 5 in Twitter. BlackRock is going to be number 4. You know, and also this is if they haven't increased their holdings after this whole Elon deal. All right, BlackRock. They have over 10 trillion in assets under management. And they have over 31 trillion in assets under custody. They were founded in 1988, so they are a relatively newer player on the block. And their CEO at the moment is a man by the name of Lawrence Fink. Now, the number breakdown on them is they are 85.1% institutional owned, so, you know, more probably private ownership via that one. The number 1 holder in BlackRock.
Vanguard.
Sure enough, yes. I was going to ask you if you would like to guess, but you already guessed it. It is Vanguard, owning 8%. Okay, the second on this list is BlackRock, and they own 6.7%. Which is just strange to me that these companies don't even own the majority of their own stock. I mean, I don't understand that whatsoever. But we'll actually circle back around to that. Let me get through this. Number 3 is Capital World Investments at 5.1%. Number 4 is State Street Corporation at 4.3%. Number 5 is Bank of America at 3.4%. And just for a notable, I put at number 8 is Wellington. It's either Wellington Corporations or Wellington Investments. They are at 2.7% in BlackRock. So let's move on here to the number 1 shareholder in Twitter, which will be Vanguard. They were founded in 1975. They have, I believe, over 8 trillion. Oh, gotta read my writing here. Oh wait, no, they have over 7.5 trillion in assets under management, and I was not able to find a assets under custody number for them. So don't know what that's about. But Vanguard is unique to this situation because they are the only company or investment firm that is solely owned by the shareholders. Like, that's it. Just solely owned by the shareholders.
Right.
So I honestly, I can't in my mind envision how that actually works. But I guess they figured out a way.
You got a board of directors, which are probably the highest amount of shareholders, and then you'll have them vote in a CEO who basically just runs the company.
Well, and the CEO of Vanguard at the moment is Tim Buckley. They are now they have 81.7%. They are owned by institution of their shares. So Let's just get to the breakdown on that. And also of note, they are the second largest. BlackRock is number 1, Vanguard is number 2, State Street is number 3. Just so we're clear on the order, even though we did a little out, we went off of who, the order of Twitter shares that they each have.
Right.
Okay, BlackRock. BlackRock owns 14.7% of Vanguard.
That's a pretty high percentage, comparably.
It is. Okay. Number 2 is Dimensional Fund Advisors. They own 7.3%.
Dimensional?
Dimensional.
Okay.
Yes. Like, multi-dimensions.
Right. So not like dementia like Joe Biden.
Yeah, wrong kind of dementia. Wrong kind of dementia. Third is T. Rowe Price at 5.8%. Fourth on the list is the Vanguard Group. Fourth in your own company.
Yep.
5.7%. Fifth in Vanguard is the Wellington Management Group. That was Wellington at 4.7%. And seventh is State Street Corporation at just 3%. Now, we know that number is 3% because these corporations, they have to file at the end of every quarter on their holdings versus an individual. An individual does not have to file if they own less than 5% of something.
Right.
So, that's why we know these numbers for a fact.